these little grooves right here? They're different this year, and they may create problems with which only those of a certain age will be familiar. These young whippersnappers have never experienced one of the game's old nightmares, the dreaded flyer. Let me try to explain the role grooves play in a golf shot. They channel enough grass away from the flat surface of the iron to allow the ball to get a grip on the club face, which creates consistent backspin and doesn't alter the amount of loft on the face. This year, the change requires the overall volume of the groove to be roughly 30% less. That means less will be channeled away and more will end up in between the iron and the ball at impact, which will create inconsistent shots. Or maybe it won't. That's the point. Players will now have to read the lie, just like we used to have to do, and figure out if the ball will come out slower than McCord's wallet, or if it's a screaming flamer that's liable to sail over the back bleachers and into the wide green yonder. The game's ruling bodies have felt for the last few years there hasn't been enough emphasis placed on driving accuracy, and they have research that backs this up. So, will this change the game as we know it? And how do the players feel about it?
Voting for it. We've been a progressive game for a long time. And just because we're better now, they want to back us up.
Well, my initial reaction was I like it because it gets guys who have control of the golf ball, gives them a bit of an advantage. You got to manage your game a little better, get the ball in the fairway.
Your technique now has to be a lot better than it used to be. It used to be able to kind of get away with mediocre technique and the grooves would make up for a mishit shot. Now they won't do that anymore.
They have kind of a shady lie. It eliminates the guesswork of is it going to spin or not. It's not gonna.
The biggest area is around the greens. When you get more loft, one of the changes is the top edge is not as sharp. It's got to be rounded a little bit. So as you get more loft, that top edge isn't catching the ball as much.
So on the West Coast, you're not going to see much different because it's so soft for Hannah stuff. The real difference you're going to see again when we get to the Florida swing on Bermuda, and the real test will be Augusta. When you really got to start being very in control of your golf ball.
In 1990, the band D-Light came out with a chart-topping song called Groove is in the Heart. Well, 20 years later, this new groove is in every player's bag. And personally, I'm curious to see how they cope with reading these lies and with the flyers that will inevitably follow.